Hey guys, Hadrian here, Invincible Jiu-Jitsu, and today we're asking the question, how can you develop razor sharp technique in your Jiu-Jitsu? So for me, it's all about positional sparring. Positional sparring is my favorite, it's my go-to methodology for improving my skill level, improving the skill level of my students. It's something that we focus on a lot. And personally, I devote at least 50% of my sparring training to positional sparring. Positional sparring is something that 10-time world champion Roger Gracie attributes to his success in competition, his undefeated streak, his skill on the mat. And the reason is positional sparring affords you the ability to get laser focused on individual positions, individual submissions, techniques, transitions, whatever it is, and repeat, so that you can gain a really deep and profound understanding of those positions, much more so than you can with just regular sparring. So picture this: comes to the end of a class, your coach tells you guys to get with your partners, you slap hands, the buzzer goes, and immediately you dive in for the kill, and you and your partner are spinning around the place like Tasmanian devils, sweat is flying, you're moving through positions, you're trading submissions back and forth, you're having a hell of a time, but you are not getting better at any one of those positions you are moving through, because you're moving through them so quickly. How is it possible that you can work and deepen your understanding of mount escapes? How are you going to get a chance to deepen your understanding of finishing the rear naked choke if your partner is doing whatever they can, struggling with all their might, fighting as if their life depended on escaping the submission? There's no way that you can, generally, all things being equal, there's no way that you can go really deep on a particular position or submission if all you're doing is scrambling around with no rhyme or reason to your training. And this is where positional sparring earns its crust. You can get laser focused on your technique. How do we do this? So, positional sparring is exactly what it sounds like. It is limiting your sparring to one particular position or one particular submission, whatever it is. It's infinite, but you are placing very strict parameters on your training. So, for example, this is how I might approach a positional sparring training at my gym with my students. One person, let's say we're working on finishing the cross collar choke from the mount. So the person on top, all they can do is maintain the mount and finish with the cross collar choke. They can't do anything else. The person underneath, all they can do is escape the position. Once there is a submission or an escape, they will reset and they'll go again with the same person on top. So they are repeating the same position, the same techniques, but in a live setting, in a live sparring setting. So this, as you can see, will enable them to very quickly and in a very short space of time get a very profound understanding of the mechanics in real time of how to apply these moves. It's all very well learning a technique and drilling a technique repeatedly, but when it comes to actually applying it against a resisting opponent or partner, it's a very different thing. Positional sparring affords us the opportunity to do this. Now, another layer to positional sparring is that you don't just go in and even though there are strict parameters on the training, even though you can only do one technique or one escape or whatever it is, doesn't mean you go in at 100% effort, fighting with all your might and fighting with everything you've got to either escape the choke or apply the choke, apply the submission. No. You start at, let's say, 15% resistance. So if we're focused on the cross collar choke, the person underneath is only giving 15%, a little bit of resistance. So there is some resistance, but they are actually allowing their partner on top, they're giving them openings, they're giving them opportunities to sink in the choke and finish the choke. And they reset and they go again. Training in a light, easy way with a little bit of resistance enables someone who doesn't know a technique to, again, develop their understanding of the technique in real time with a little bit of resistance. Of course, as they get more comfortable with the technique, both parties increase their output. So the person underneath will increase their defensiveness, increase their defensive output by another 5 or 10%. So now we're going at, let's say, 30%. And then you can go to 40%. And then in the end, when both parties are comfortable or when the skill levels are high enough, you can start going at 100% to really test the legitimacy of your cross-collar choke. And at the same time, the person underneath is learning how to escape and defend and all this good stuff. You can see how positional sparring, because it is so focused, because it is so intentional, allows you the opportunity to get very, very good very quickly at specific sections, specific aspects of your training. And then when you go and incorporate these improved aspects of your training into your overall game, you are that much better because of it. Another benefit of positional sparring is that it keeps you safe. Because we're training within these very limited parameters, the risk of sudden, unexpected, dynamic, explosive movement is significantly reduced. There's hardly any risk of scrambles. And scrambles, or unpredictable movement, is where most of the injuries in jiu-jitsu take place. So if you're an older practitioner, or if you're coming off the bench, you've had an injury and you're trying to ease your way back into training, this is a great way, positional sparring is a great way to stay safe, to prevent injury, prevent further injury, and at the same time, radically improve or radically accelerate your learning curve. So there you are, guys. That is positional sparring. That's why I believe positional sparring for me is the #1 tool for getting better quickly at jiu-jitsu. If you enjoyed this content, if you found it useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us spread the good word. In the meantime, train well, and I'll see you in the next video.